Stephen A., what's your reaction to LaVar Ball's latest comments?
Very sad. He's out of control. And we all know we've had him on the show. He's been on my radio show. He's been on First Take a couple of times. I actually like the guy. He's a lot of fun to listen to and whatever, and I think that he's done a brilliant job marketing his son because as gifted as Lonzo Ball is, I don't think the Summer League would have been sold out and people would have been clamoring to watch the games on TV if it had not been for Lonzo Ball, which obviously has a lot to do with LaVar Ball. But those comments that he came across can be interpreted as nothing short of sexist. It's inexcusable. And it's not something that should happen. And he's sitting there, and then he says, you know, the stay in your lane comment obviously resonated with you.
It certainly did.
What also said with me is, well, why are you talking about her being out of shape? What are you talking about?
What does that have to do with?
Well, first of all, I don't know if that is true.
Yeah. Or she's not qualified when she is qualified.
And why would you do that? And I think the thing about it is that, see, I'm fond of the man that I happen to believe is a good father who loves his son dearly and instills a level of confidence in them that helps them elevate their play and beyond. Because to have a father so supportive, even though sometimes his mouth can be a bit detrimental in some people's eyes, clearly it's working for them and that can't be ignored. The flip side to it is that, what are you doing? Why are you going this way? And then nothing you do gets to be looked upon in a vacuum. Just last week, Max, or the week before, he's pulling his team off the court. You know, and look, we ain't playing no more because you're upset with how they're officiating. Well, I don't care what level you're on. There isn't a professional athlete in history that has not been exposed to bad officiating from time to time. It happens to the stars on down. No one escapes it. So for you to take your ball and go home, per se, because you're unhappy with how the game is being officiated, sends so much the wrong message. And the only message he's hearing these days is his own coming out of his mouth. And I think it's really unfortunate right now. And I think times are going to get worse before he's reeled in and it gets better.
The issue was he made it about her gender and then said, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, but then used a buzzword, right? Like or a phrase, stay in your lane. That's going to infuriate people, obviously. Sure. I would say that LaVar Ball needs to be careful, else he becomes toxic. You know, it stops being fun, and you start to see the press about it, and he starts being toxic, and no one will touch him. The problem is that kind of behavior, including, by the way, and maybe especially in terms of an example, among people who hold prominent national office, that kind of talk and behavior and the general coarsening of the public discourse has been rewarded. And people see that it's been rewarded, not only by, you know, the body politic, but also in terms of commercial success for people like LaVar Ball. So I don't know that I can say be careful or you become toxic, because it's worked for some.
How society is right now.
Well, there's been a coarsening of the public discourse along these lines, and many people are advantaged
by it. What you're putting down,
the level of seriousness that we want to attach to this particular incident and him pulling the kids off the court, that's serious. I get all of that. All the stuff that people have bloviated and knock him down prior to that, I mean, I thought it was a bit much. So you think your son's better than Steph Curry? We'll find out he's not. Okay. So you think you could beat Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley, even though you average 2 points a game at Washington State? We know better than that. I mean, so when people get upset about that kind of stuff, that's harmless. This is serious, and that's the difference.
Right. Funny you bring that up, though, because, again, you're talking about someone who has their own set of facts that are demonstrably disprovable.
Alternative ones?
Does it remind you of somebody?
No, but you both brought up two great points, though. Stephen A., in terms of bringing attention to Vegas and everything going on, he did that, and it's all for naught, because now all we're talking about is this. And if it wasn't about the gender, why'd you bring up the gender?
Well,
but he could have went off on the official and didn't have to mention she was a female.
He was trying to get into the psychology of it. He's imagining, hey, if there's a glass ceiling in various aspects of our culture, including basketball refereeing for men, then men's basketball or boys basketball, then he can imagine what a woman in that position is up against. And so then he imagines, well, she might be trying to be extra tough. But it's a lot of conjecture on his part, and I think
that's unnecessary.
True, and I think he would have been okay with it until he said, stay in your lane. Because now you're combining on one hand that conjecture that's gender-related and points it out and highlights it with a phrase, a trigger phrase that is sure to infuriate
people. I hope
people.
he apologizes in some way.
Let's keep this in mind, too. He took a little hit when on Colin Cowherd's show he went after.
He already did the stay in your lane then. This is his second time saying it.
Yeah. But it's important to notice the difference. In that particular instance, what he was telling folks is that he was attacked by that person who had said some personal things about him as a man and as a father. You understand? Not that he should have done that, but that was his reason. That was his motivation. This one,
he appears to be the attacker, but he thinks he was attacked by the officiating.
So, you know, because of bad officiating or what you perceive to be bad officiating, you go here. It's inexcusable. It's indefensible.
Bad officiating, man up.